Hi everyone, I'm going to be tying this dry fly. This is it's like a spring olive pattern. It's a bit rough, it's just kind of rough olive as I would call it. It's a great fly at the beginning of the season. Now this one's tied with a combination of synthetic and natural fibre in the wing, which makes for a great combination. It just, if you're looking for a dry fly, something that floats really well, something that gives you a natural look as well as obviously CDC floats well, but if you have a mix of synthetic fibre and a natural fibre, it's, as I say, they work well together, and this especially does. Now it's a simple fly to tie. Now you can tie it in all different sizes and colours. This is a good one, as I say, for the beginning of the season. Hook choice, it's up to yourself really, but the one I'm using is this one, the Ultimate Dry, in black nickel, size 14. As I say, you can tie in different sizes. I mean, I tie it right down, I tie it a size even bigger. And you can go even bigger than that if you're tying large mayflies, so it's a great style. Thread I'm going to be using is Olive Done, an 8/0 from Uni. They have waxed the thread to get a wee bit extra grip. And they come down about the thorax length, which is about there. Remove the waste. Now I'm going to tie in the tail fibres as well as the rib on the way down, just to save a wee bit of bulk. Now I'm using this colour here. This is a Fiery Ginger from Whiting. It's a nice tail fibre. It's a great, you can just use any kind of Hackle fibre, it's up to yourself, or even micro Fibres. But this is a good, I like this. Now tail length, you're looking just to balance the fly around about the hook length. So you've got tail length, hook length over the back. Just going to catch this on the way down, as I say, with the rib, and I'm just going to take away the waste first. Now the rib, I'm going to be using the Uni-Mylar clear. Now it's a medium thickness. Now if you look here, if you compared to your tinsels, it's a medium size, not small. But to make it small, it's quite simple, just stretch it. And that will reduce it down to what they would class as number 16, or small. And I need the small rib for this. So I'm going to catch, as I say, I'm going to catch it on the way down. Let's catch it dubbing here. So we just offer it to the side of the hook, pull it in, and then keep them both together, just wind to the back of the hook. Now I like to lift the tail fibres with a turn underneath, so I usually come underneath. I'm coming under both the rib and the tail fibres, I'll not do it any harm. And then lift, pull towards the eye. Once you come underneath, this will open the fibres out, and then you want to lock it in with 2 or 3 turns, and when you come up, probably a good mil from the tail, as you can see. And you see how it flares the tail fibres out, just opens them. Now for the body, I'm going to be using the Ultra Dry Dub. This one's from Fully Mill. It's a light, well, as you can see, a light olive. You can change the colours, just mess about with colours. I mean, you could even just use the thread. The light Cahill thread, I like to use that in the body at times. Now, as I say, I'll use this light olive, just a tiny bit of dubbing, you don't need much. Just offer it to the thread. Basically, have it sit on your finger. In this case my left hand, and then my finger and thumb, my right hand, I twist just one way, using my finger here and the dubbing as an anchor point, and I just stretch it up the thread. It's as simple as that, and I slide it up to where I want it to start. Once I get a turn or two onto the hook, just to get it started, then that becomes the anchor point, so then I can tighten to that point, so then we can work our way up. Just form a nice shape in your body. It could be as thin or as heavy as you like, depending on the type of fly you're trying to represent. The duns that comes off at this time of year, they're a good size. And this would even represent the March Brown. So there we are. And trim away the excess. I want a better shape in the body, so I'm taking any of the long fibres away. Just slightly, just enough to encourage that shape. I'm going to colour the clear wrap, that's the good thing about it. Now you could just rib it straight up, which gives you a nice body. I have tied a few like that, but with a brown marker pen, or even a black, I've used even black, just the underside of the clear wrap, or the side it's going to touch the hook. You'll know that side, when you bring it over you'll see where it's going to touch. And then you just rib the fly. It gives you a very quill-like body. It can be as close or as wide apart as you like. It can slightly get wider as you wind up. It's got a nice colour in the body. Maybe that. Trim that away once you've got it in. Now for the synthetic side of the wing, I'm going to be using this brown dun. I'll show you this is the full mill version of the yarn. This is the ultra dry yarn, brown dun. Now there's lots of other materials out there, there's other companies, you can use them, like, well, there's Parapost, there's Polypro, there's a few companies. Now what I'm going to do here is just I've got a length out. Now I'm going to form I'm just going to catch it on the top with about an inch or so forward of the eye. I'm going to come a couple of turns just to hold it, and then I'm going to basically, these 2 turns was this side, so I'm going to come and then figure 8 through it just to hold them apart. Just lift them like that. And so we've basically cut them in with a couple of figure 8s. And then you want to trim it. Now I usually trim this. When I'm tying a wing with my synthetic fibre, I usually trim it at the end. But I'm going to trim this to the length I want, which is to the back of the hook. So I basically hold both ends, bring it to the back, and trim it in line with the back of the hook. Just there. Now once you do that, I'll show you what it looks like. So you've got a kind of V-type wing. So that's sitting out from the shank, which is going to support the fly. Now I'm going to go back to my dubbing. Same dubbing. Now you could darken the dubbing down to darken the thorax. You could change it to maybe like a hare's ear type colour or a darker brown. Now what I'm doing is put dubbing on. I'm going to put a wee bit at the back, and then come through between the wings. It's light. It's just to tidy up. I don't know if you can see that. There we are. Just tidies things up a wee bit. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add in the CDC wing. Now you're looking for a natural feathers, a natural grey. You could use dyed. Dyed is good as well if you can get some nice dyed stuff. Now this is a natural grey. These are the largest feathers. So they have a natural curve. Now you want them curving away from one another. So it's obviously giving you right and left side. So what I like to do is hold the base of the CDC and draw the fibres together. Now this is a natural CDC, and I'm making sure these tips are lined up. Natural CDC has a nice long fibre, so you want as much as the fibres you can. And you want it practically the same length, or just slightly longer than the synthetic. So just offer it, usually sideways, just check the length. You can check it by to see where it's at the back of the hook. So we tie that laying back, hold it, and then pinch and loop a couple of times in front of the ultra dry yarn. Just see where it's sitting. Now I'm not going to figure 8 through this, I'm just going to leave it. And then what I'm going to do is trim away the waist. Now the waist, that's dubbing, or even I've used them again in another fly. A stiffer wing in a windy day can be quite really good. So if you've got big long feathers like that, you can use them again. A wee bit thick in the stem, so you've got to make sure you've got plenty of room at the front when you tie it in, but it still will float the fly. So we hold up, just make sure everything's fine. A wee bit of wax on the thread. It's important that you tie in these CDC feathers. And I use the wing towards the eye. Just check my wing here. Just see where it is. It's a nice blend, so you can see, yeah, a nice mix. So back to the dubbing, same dubbing. You only need a wee drop. This is just to tidy it up. Now you could just use the tie off. There's nothing wrong with just tying off. But what I'm going to do is come up to the CDC wing, make sure I've got enough dubbing to get up, and then just use the thread to come back through. and then we can wet finish and varnish onto your thread, and then just hold anything that's going forward back, tighten up, and there we are. That's basically a spring olive really, but it's a kind of nice mix of synthetic. Now what you'll see the synthetic, because they're separate, slightly separate anyway, but the underside you'll see more of the synthetic, which is going to support the fly. You've got the natural mix of the CDC and the yarn. Now you can brush them together, and once you cast it they'll come together anyway. They'll mix nice. And the natural shape of the CDC curves away from the hook anyway. Now you can trim it if you want a certain shape, but I've never found it makes any difference. So I'd rather keep it like the way it is. Any fibres there. If you want even, you can trim underneath. There we are. You can see the rib, really nice, sticks out, simple way of doing stuff, gives that great quill effect. And I say, these float all day. Once you put in your floatant, whatever one you use, this will keep going. Quick false cast and up top of the water. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and again, thanks for watching.